everybody knows that cardiovascular disease is a big complication and basically a systemic effect of a general disease, which is diabetes, which is obviously on the increase. Now, NICE has estimated that by 2025, we are going to have 5 million people in UK with diagnosis of diabetes. There's probably another million who are not aware and are undiagnosed for various reasons. This was only 3 million in 2012, and it is obviously on the increase, especially type 2 diabetes. Worldwide, there are 415 million people, one in almost every 11. It's again going to be going up to 642 million by 2040. Now, as for cardiovascular disease is concerned, the mortality is is at the moment, no doubt, the reasons or the cause of death, where the cardiovascular disease is the main cause. It's attributing to 27% of the deaths in UK. This was 50% in 1961 when it was 320,000 and now 163,000 deaths. There is no doubt that there is improvement in cardiovascular mortality, but unfortunately, diabetes is on the increase, and the cardiovascular deaths because of diabetes, which attributes are basically to 68% and another 12% stroke deaths in diabetic population because of cardiovascular disease. So I would now like to say some words about, uh, to understand and obviously for the audience regarding what are the things which are obviously in relation to, cardiovascular disease and the mechanisms occurring, biological mechanisms, some layman's words I'll try and use. Basically, what is happening is there are three important things which are causing the problem in addition to some other mechanisms as well. But one of them is the weight and obesity. So this is, as we know, is going ahead as more of an epidemic, especially in the US as well, with all the work and the news we hear because of lifestyle measures. Unfortunately, what we eat, how much exercise we do, how we look after ourselves, and that leads to insulin resistance. Insulin is the hormone secreted by the pancreas, and that obviously helps in pushing the glucose into the cells, which helps the cells to use that glucose, in the form of energy, and and basically use up. But if the glucose is available but insulin is less, or there's insulin resistance, then unfortunately the cells do suffer. And the cells suffer, and the sugar is more in the extracellular space, which means outside the cells, more in the blood vessels, which obviously leads to all its symptoms and also messes up and mucks up the inner lining of the blood vessels, leading to endothelial dysfunction. So the inner lining of the vessel is very important because that is where the cholesterol gets deposited, and the related chemical mediators, other things, as you can see in this picture as well, leading to narrow arteries. And this leads to both problems at the microvascular level and also at the macrovascular. The micro is small vessels like behind the eyes, leading to retinopathy, which means damaging the eyes and the vision. And it happens obviously when the sugar is not controlled, the blood pressure is not controlled. So obesity is such an important thing, and more important is that this is preventable, and we can do something about it. So addressing our lifestyle measures, helping us to basically reduce weight, even 5% of weight in a type 2 diabetic patient helps so much. But obviously, if you add on with exercise, eating sensibly, diabetic diet, more proteins, less carbohydrates, all this in the end helps. And basically, weight loss is, in some cases, when it's early diabetes or even borderline diabetes or diet controlled diabetes, it has been seen that some people have even got off one or two tablets like metformin initially started when they have worked on their weight. And this is obviously applicable to type 2, which is more common. Now, as far as the other factor is concerned, which is hypertension, blood pressure problem can come with diabetes, and it is almost 60% prevalent in patients who have type 2 diabetes, and type 1 30% who suffer with hypertension. Now, hypertension, blood pressure control is important, but it has also been shown that if we do it very aggressively and lower the blood pressure, then obviously in those patients also probably lower blood pressure, especially below 120, 110, research shows, is also not idealistic. But having a blood pressure high is also detrimental, which is very important. So any blood pressure around 130 to 135 systolic and 80 to 85 diastolic is something which is very important. And we can achieve that not only by lifestyle measures, but more importantly, medication, compliance with medication, the correct medication, what the doctor tells, and obviously monitoring your blood pressure regularly. And in addition, controlling your sugar. Again, too much of very aggressive sugar control also is shown to cause more hypos and a higher mortality. And it is important to control sugar. It should be done aggressively, but not very aggressively. So 6.5 to 7 HbA1c is shown to be a quite good way to go, to avoid extra complications. The third factor is the cholesterol. Now, cholesterol, as we all know, is such an important factor, especially relating to coronary artery disease or even stroke, because stroke is because of the cholesterol getting deposited in the blood vessels which supply blood to the brain, and basically the carotid, the carotid arteries, and the heart blood vessels, which are coronary vessels, are the vessels which give rise to initially angina when they are partially getting shut down. But when it becomes complete shutdown, that causes the heart attack. So treating cholesterol, first of all, prevention is always better than cure. So we have to work, because unfortunately, diabetes itself gives rise to problems with cholesterol metabolism and rise in cholesterol and the bad cholesterol. The good cholesterol, which is called an HDL, and the bad cholesterol, which are LDL and even triglycerides, are higher in diabetes. And the problem is that these obviously there are mechanisms because of the chemical mediators, the sugar attached to the red blood cells, the endothelial inner lining of the blood vessels, all getting damaged, all working. But obviously, as far as cholesterol is concerned, yes, the bad cholesterol is the one which triggers and basically gets deposited on the lining. Blood pressure doesn't help deposition of cholesterol as well. It has been shown that higher the blood pressure is, more it does abrasion of the inner lining of the blood vessels, because especially if your blood vessels are more stiff, and obviously if the blood pressure is not controlled and for a long time, you may not feel it until unless the damage is done more than 50% before you realize or you start getting symptoms or it starts showing just like an iceberg. So important thing is not only to control your blood pressure, not only to control your sugar, but also to treat cholesterol. Compliance with statin is very important. Fibrates are reasonably okay, shown some evidence to work, but niacin and there are certain anti-lipids which don't work that well in diabetic patients. And for even stroke prevention or heart attack prevention, again, cholesterol lowering is very important. And in diabetic patients, we have to be very aggressive. The lower the LDL or the bad cholesterol, better it is. And higher the good cholesterol, which is HDL, better it is. And statin does both the jobs. And obviously, there are more medicines now in horizon, including PCSK9 group of certain medicines where you can have an injection once a fortnight. And this is given in addition to statin, because unfortunately, some people may not tolerate it, because the rare side effect of statin, which can happen 1 in 10,000, is the muscle aches, myopathy, or even slight damage of the muscle. So if you don't get pains when you start a statin, generally good to start at a lower dose, 10 to 20 milligram, and build up very quickly until unless you are admitted to the heart attack, where the dose would be increased quite quickly. So I think these are some of the important elements, but obviously diabetes also leads to other cardiovascular problems, including hypertrophy, which means basically the muscles of the heart, they become thicker. Blood pressure also makes it thicker because it works harder, but diabetes also causes scarring, fibrosis, which we call, inside the heart muscles, just making it more difficult for the heart to relax. And that also causes what we call as diastolic dysfunction, which basically means the heart is not able to relax, and basically it contracts all right, although contraction is also affected by diabetes, and moreover by getting a heart attack, a scar on the heart, which doesn't allow the muscles to contract well. And this all leads to fluid in the lungs, or what we call as pulmonary congestion. And this fluid in the lung can make you short of breath. Diabetes also has a problem because 15 to 20% of the people may not present with typical symptoms, especially if you have angina, you have a heart attack, and those patients may have very atypical symptoms. What we have also picked up, over time in diabetic patients who have been, with the problem for say 10 years or more, that they get neuropathy, and by that time you even pick up silent heart attacks. There is silent ischemia. There are atypical symptoms like dizziness, just making a patient more short of breath, and basically not presenting with typical symptoms, which are typical chest tightness or heaviness is related to exertion. So there are other problems as well. You can also get problem with the wiring and arrhythmia, what we call, and also what we call as cardiomyopathy, which means muscle disorder. These are some of the other rare combinations, but obviously the most important thing with diabetes and its complications, systemic on the heart, the blood pressure, cholesterol, and one thing which we can work on is the lifestyle measures. You will be amazed that type 2 diabetes mostly is preventable and also can be delayed. So unlike type 1, which you don't have a control over. But the type 2 diabetes patients, if they work on their lifestyle measures and what they eat is sensible, exercise 150 minutes a week, of moderately strenuous exertion or exercise or aerobic, or they do 75 minutes in a week, which can be divided into 3 days of strenuous ones, which is more applicable to patients who are less than 40, 45, because we won't recommend somebody who's 60, 65 to do week, strenuous type of. So exercise, very important. Diet, very important. And if you add on some other factors like smoking or other risk factors of heart disease, in addition, you have diabetes, then you make the problem a bigger one, because then chances of heart attack increase. And 50% of the patients after an year, unfortunately, are lost if they don't look after themselves, especially with cardiovascular problem. Thank you so much.